What's up YouTube, this is GalacticGod and I'm coming at you now with another one of my Yu-Gi-Oh! Q&A videos. Today I'm going to be getting the questions off of my Facebook GalacticGod page, so if you haven't already subscribed to that, please go do so. There'll be a link down in the description bar below. I have all the questions here on my handy dandy little phone that I'm going to read off to you. I'm only going to give people's first names because I know some people don't like their last names being read on camera. Also, I'm going to try and get to as many questions as I can. Some of them kind of repeat and whatnot, so I'll do as many as I'm able to do. Alright, so question number one comes from Nicholas, and he asks, what are your thoughts on the new game changes coming in March, such as no first turn draw, new mat, etc. Now really these are only changes to the OCG right now. We don't know when, if ever. I'm sure we eventually will, but when we're going to get them here in TCG land. I personally like when Konami does do changes to the game. I know a lot of people were kind of up in arms when Synchros were released, and then when Exceeds, and when they took away priority to monsters when they're first summoned. But I think change is good for the game, and I think whenever the game evolves and does something different or tries to fix something that's not working, I think it can only help and better the game overall. And so I'm a big proponent for, you know, changing things up and seeing what works, what doesn't, fixing things. I mean, I liked it when, you know, Konami changed the 6-month ban list down to 4 months and down to 3. I think faster formats are gonna, if nothing else, give the game, you know, a much needed change in a lot of aspects. And so anyways, I think change is good and I'm happy for it, and I'm looking forward to what this has to come about here in TCG as well. Alright, so Adam asks, what is the best and worst format that you've ever played in? Personally, I really enjoyed the first Synchro Plant format. Now there was really kind of two of them. It went through 2 different ban lists, but the first one was the one that I enjoyed the most. Before the second one, we kind of got Tour Guide and then Exceed monsters and everything, and it changed it up in a way that ultimately led to a mass banning of cards like Tenku getting limited, and Glow Up Bulb and Trishula and Spore and all these cards ending up on the ban list, and because it was just so broken. But the first half, or the first format of Synchro Plant, I thought was really fun and really imaginative and innovative, and a lot of things going on in that format that I definitely liked. I'm a big fan of Synchron decks, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know who watch my channel, and I just loved that format very much. Alright, so Ross asks, what's your favorite deck to use casually and competitively? Casual decks, you know, there's a lot of them that I really like playing. A lot of you guys know who've been watching my channel a long time that I enjoy Crystal Beast quite a bit. I haven't used them as much lately, but it's definitely a deck that I like a lot. Synchrons, of course, another one that I thoroughly enjoy. Heroes right now, I guess, will be more of a casual deck because Stratos is gone, so you can't really play them too competitively. Stuff like Heraldic Beast, Go-Go-Go's, these are other decks that I definitely like quite a bit. If I'm doing something a little bit more competitive, I tend to lean towards decks like Constellars is one I like a lot. Prophecy is another. Mermails, I think, is a pretty fun deck to play, although I haven't used that in quite a while. Those are kind of the more competitive decks that I like. Alright, so Joshua asks, why do ice barriers suck so much? And personally, you know, I don't really think they suck that much. I mean, they're not a competitive deck. They're definitely much more of a casual deck, especially now the Brio's gone and stuff, but I think they're really fun to play, and I think with maybe some new support, ice barriers could actually be really good. I mean, they got a lot of really good cards in them. Cantala's awesome, Prior's really good. They got their own Rhoda and everything. They got really good Synchro monsters. I mean, of course, Trishula and Brio, I mean, they're gone, so you can't really just keep bringing them back with Prior like you could before, but I mean, if they just got a little bit more support or something came off the list that would help them, I think it would go a long way for making ice barriers not looked down on as much anymore within our community. So Homan asks, why can you special summon the monster that you discard with Lumina, but you can't use her effect if there is no monster in the graveyard? Basically how this works is that Lumina doesn't target a monster to special summon when she activates the effect. You have to have something in the graveyard in order to activate the effect. But once you do, her effect doesn't target until resolution, and so when it resolves you can bring back whatever monster you like. Alright, so Quentin asks, how did you get your girlfriend into Yu-Gi-Oh? And I think, you know, it was much more of a natural progression, I guess. I mean, she's not really into Yu-Gi-Oh like I am. She's definitely very casual with it. She only plays every once in a blue moon. She does love opening packs. Whenever I bring home product, or she'll go out and she'll buy product to bring home, she'll like, let's open up stuff. And she keeps up, you know, very limited, you know, with the news that she keeps up with Yu-Gi-Oh. But I think it was more of just, you know, her being always around Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, I have Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, in the house, and you know, I play it and, you know, go on DevPro and stuff, and she watches it and she just gets interested in it and started asking questions about it, and eventually just kind of learned from, you know, being around it. And it wasn't like a forceful thing like, oh, you should learn this, but just kind of just happened naturally, really. Alright, so Omar asks, what do you think will be getting banned or limited next format? And this is a really hard question to try and answer because, you know, Konami is so crazy with their decisions on what to do with the ban list. They're so unpredictable, you never know really what they could possibly do. One thing that I hope happens is that, you know, Stratos does come off the list. I personally don't think he needs to be on the list. Especially, you know, they got new hero support coming out. I'd love to see him come back off the list. I think that Stratos is an awesome card and he's not too uberly broken. And even when he was around and heroes were at full strength, I mean, they barely ever, you know, really topped events, and, you know, hardly ever out of those tops won events. I mean, every once in a blue moon they would, but it wasn't so prevalent that it needed to get hit, in my opinion. And I hope that he comes back. I think that's the only card that, you know, I'm really hoping for. Alright, so Payne asks, what do you think about Boojins? I hate them. Alright, so Holden asks, what decks would you like to see come alive and get new support? There's a lot of them that I think need it. Stuff like Destiny Heroes definitely need support. Crystal Beasts, Volcanics. A lot of the really older ones from the GX era are just struggling and could definitely use some support. And I think those ones are the ones that need it the most. Alright, so Brian asks, what is your highest score on Donkey Kong? Over 9,000! Alright, so Jose asks, what state do you live in? I live in California, Southern California to be exact. I try and go to as many of the events that are out here or near Southern California. Between my job and school and everything, I can only go to so many. Usually if there's a YCS in Southern California or near Southern California, whether it be northern or in a neighboring state such as like Nevada or Arizona or something, I try to get to those if I can. Sometimes I'm able to go to ones that are farther away, but usually not. Alright, so Gage asks, in all honesty, how have you been lately? Honestly, I've been a little stressed. I'm getting towards the end of the quarter, so I got finals coming up. You know, plus I was getting over the flu recently and a nasty cold and everything, as I'm sure some of you guys heard in my videos. My voice might have been all over the place in some of them. I'm definitely looking forward to my spring break here in a couple weeks, and then just starting a new quarter off fresh. Alright, so Alex asked, do you know why the 4th season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX didn't air in America? And the only thing I can think of as to why is because they wanted to hurry up and get to the 5Ds anime, because the 5D card product was about to be released. I think they wanted to time the release of the Synchro Monsters with the release of the new anime, and that's kind of essentially why we didn't get the last season of GX, which is kind of sad because it had that epic duel with Jaden and Yugi at the very end in the last episode of the series. I would have definitely loved to have seen that. Alright, and there you have it. I want to thank everyone who sent in questions. I tried to get to as many of them as I could. Remember, if you have a question that you'd like answered in a future Yu-Gi-Oh! Q&A, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below, or you can leave it as a video response to this video, and I will play that before I answer the question in my next Yu-Gi-Oh! Q&A. And I guess that's it for now. This is GalacticGod, out.